Season 1. Season 1 begins with the main character Atsushi Nakajima, who is kicked out of the orphanage and laying by the river, starving and in need of a place to go. While he is contemplating a way to survive, he notices a man floating down a river, Asamo Dazai, who wants to commit suicide. Him and his partner Kunikita take Atsushi out for dinner. Atsushi finds out that they are with the armed detective agency. They possess special abilities. Both of them tell Atsushi about a tiger going around and causing trouble. Dazai devises a plan to catch the tiger, or to catch the were-tiger. Turns out the were-tiger was Atsushi all along. The detective agency takes Atsushi in. As the season goes on, the agency goes on multiple missions, stopping bomb threats, dealing with other gifted villains, and including the main antagonist of the first season, the Port Mafia. That's such a cool name. Season 2. Season 2 starts off with Dazai's past when he was with the Port Mafia, along with his former friends Oda Sakunosuke and Ango Sakaguchi. In Season 2, Ango turns out to be a mole for the government. He ends up betraying the Port Mafia. Oda Saku wants to be a writer and vows not to kill anyone, but he ends up dying by the hands of Jeed, the leader of this group called Mimic, a former soldier who fought for his country in the Great War, but he and his army are betrayed by his country, labeled as war criminals. After attacking a walled city, because of this, they escape and some of their men start to commit suicide. At the end of the war, Mimic begin wandering the lands, considering themselves as ghosts looking to die in battle. Jeet and Oda both die due to their abilities. They both see 6 seconds into the future. First 4 episodes of the season is a flashback, then it goes to the present. A new group called the Guild, led by Francis, comes into Yokohama wanting to take control of the city. He has a family. He married a woman named Zelda. Their daughter dies, but Zelda, who falls ill, still believes she is still alive. Francis wants to make that happen. To do that, he needs a book. If what is written down on the page, it comes to reality. At the end of season 2, a new enemy is shown, a Russian man named Fyodor. Can't say these friggin' names, man. Season 3 starts off with another flashback involving Dazai once again, but this time Chuya is involved. The arc is about the explosion that takes place in the city. Not only the former boss of the Port Mafia is brought back from the dead, Dazai and Chuya work together to figure out what's going on. The arc touches on how Chuya was before he became a member of the Port Mafia. Also, how the two act around each other when they first meet or when they first met. Shifting to the present, this gang that attacks the coffee shop that the agency loves to go to are quickly taken care of, so they don't play a huge role. Lucy, a strategist and the former member of the guild, finds Francis, helps him get back on his feet quickly. Although in the show he was living like a bum for 7 months, but she shows up and voila, he's a millionaire again. Atsushi finds some closure when the former headmaster of his orphanage, who abused and tortured him, is killed in an accident on his way to see him. He ends up crying over the headmaster's death because he was the closest thing he had to a father. That still doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he fucking brutalized him. A new foe named Fyodor, who is involved with a group called the Rats of the House of Dead, puts his plan into action by infecting the leader of the Port Mafia, president of the detective agency with a cannibalism ability, putting the mafia and the agency against one another. If one of the hosts who's infected by the cannibalism dies, then the ability stops. Season 4. The Dogs Have Been Framed. The Dogs Have Been Framed. This season starts out with another flashback arc that involves Rampo. Okay, is it Rampo? Is it Rampo, like R-A-M, or is it Rampo? Because in the show it sounds like they're saying Rampo. But then when I Google it, it says Rampo. So I'm going to go with what Google says and go with Ranpo and Fukuzawa, showing how they first met, how they were able to solve a theater crime together. There was a crime in the first episode. Ranpo was able to figure it out. The murderer who killed the victim was killed by an assassin accused of the crime. Then we go back to the present. Ranpo is solving yet another murder, but this murder will play a factor in this season. By that I mean the killer's abilities, which is called the perfect crime. This ability destroys any evidence once a crime is committed. This ability is used to help a group of individuals known as the Decay of Angels. Once they take Mushitaro, the owner of the perfect crime ability, all types of evidence starts popping up, which leads to Dazai's arrest. They end up framing the armed detective agency. The Angels are able to frame the detective agency by writing their crimes on a page from this special book. What's written in the book, it becomes reality, making them out to be terrorists. The situation gets even worse when the military's top police force, known as the Hunting Dogs, show up. Not only do they have abilities, but They have incredible physical strength. To possess this strength, they each need to have skin surgery once a month. Dazai and Fyodor are in a prison somewhere in Europe, having a battle of minds. Season 4 ends with the detective agency trying to prove their innocence to the hunting dogs. This character named Sigma, who was created out of nothing, plays a role in the season and also in season 5. Speaking of season 5, the leader of the Decay of Angels is revealed. That person is Fukuchi, the leader of the hunting dogs. His goal is to use the back of the page to write the destruction of the state. Dazai and Fyodor continue to try to outsmart one another when Nikolai has both of them play a game to get out of the prison that is designed to keep the gifted from breaking out. He gives both of them a lethal injection. Both participants have 30 minutes to escape. Whoever gets out first gets the antidote. Now, that's a summary of all the seasons. Now it's time for my rankings. Number 1. Season 2 is number 1. I enjoy the groups fighting over the city. The Port Mafia and the Armed Detective Agency both love Yokohama. They're trying to protect their territory against the guild. Season 2 has a gang war type of vibe to it. The beginning of the season starts off strong, with the look into Dazai's past, setting a more serious tone. Dazai has been the smart and contemplated one. In the beginning, you'll see him be vulnerable and actually lost in what to do. When Otosaku is about to die, Oda tells him to become a good man and to protect people. And maybe that'll help make his world become a little more beautiful. Such powerful words. Such sweet words. The way season 2 ended with the epic battle between Francis and Nakagawa and Atsushi, I enjoy how these two are developing a certain connection between one another despite the fact that they hate each other. It's not like how, two characters, they start talking shit and teasing one another and they compete with each other and then they eventually become friends. With these two, it's like one's a serial killer and then you got one who had a horrible past. I mean, they both had horrible past. They each can kind of understand one another and relate to each other in a way. Number 2, I put season 5 at number 2. I was going to put it last because Fukuchi was using Bram, another member of the Decay of Angels, a vampire, to turn everyone into creatures of the night. I wasn't feeling the whole turn the military and the Port Mafia into vampires, so it could help execute his evil plan. Vampires, really? That's what I was thinking. But given how the season was playing out, with there being so many surprises and drama, even in the midst of all the chaos, creators of the show still managing to put some humor in the season. The humor felt natural, it didn't feel forced. Dazai finally outsmarts the evil genius Fyodor in the season finale, which leads to Fyodor's death. But I don't think he is dead. I mean, you can't kill off a character that viewers don't know anything about. As far as his past, how he became the person that he is, the battle between Atsushi and Akutagawa versus Fukuchi was awesome. Tachihara versus Fukuchi was awesome. He's a freaking metal bender, man. Fukuzawa and Fukuchi's past is revealed. Fukuchi's true intentions was never to destroy the state. It was to warn Fukuzawa about a war. So this seems to be the main theme of the show. This great war, which a lot of these characters seem to be connected to in a way. Number 3, season 1. I put season 1 at number 3 because the first season really put its best foot forward. The characters right from the jump, you can just immediately see how strong the personalities are. Everybody has a weird, odd, serious, smart, arrogant, nonchalant, and funny characteristic about themselves. It just seems to mesh really well. Whether it be in the Armed Detective Agency or the Port Mafia, the chemistry between everyone, it just feels right. Sort of like when you watch a sitcom on TV. Now there are 2 characters that I don't really care for. That's Naomi and Junichiro. They are brother and sister. They bang each other. It's really, really, really weird. I'm hoping at some point in the series we find out that they are not related, but that's the vibe that I get from the Armed Detective Agency. There's no judgment. Junichiro's ability is freaking cool, I'll say that. And I think the creators got a lot of complaints from the viewers. They're like, okay, let's tone down the connection between Naomi and Junichiro, because Naomi is not really shown a whole lot in season 4. She's not really shown in season 4 or 5. I think she is shown once in season 3, but after season 1 and 2, she's pretty much irrelevant. Some of the characters' past is revealed. Dazai used to be a Port Mafia member. Akutagawa, one of the biggest antagonists in the show. His drive is that he wants Dazai's acknowledgement. The leader of the Port Mafia is revealed. Also, a new gang is revealed as well. It just seems like a lot went on in the first season. Number 4. Season 3. You see the loyalty between the groups. You're obviously going to see the good guys protect one another, but I like how the antagonists of the show looked out for their boss Mori. I think it's rare to see bad guys look out for one another. When things are going well, it's all rainbows and sunshine. But when shit hits the fan, there's betrayal. The antagonists are looking to save their own ass. And also, I think Fyodor is a pretty cool villain. And the last ranking, number 5, season 4. With the armed detective agency being framed, each character seems to be faced with a hurdle. One of the hunting dogs mentions Kunakita's ideals, which sort of puts Kunakita in a mental spiral. Yosano's past is revealed as she has some history. Mori, the leader of the Port Mafia. Speaking of the Port Mafia, Tachihara, a member of the Port Mafia, was an undercover agent for the hunting dogs. Not only is his ability revealed, which is metal bending, that's how I'm calling it. You'll find out his backstory and his motivation for doing the things that he does. A lot of surprises and some new characters come into play. I like seeing the detective agency fight their way out of tough situations. One thing that bugged me was when Ranpo was trying to figure out this mystery novel case. The victim in the case had no color. He had clothes, hair, but no skin color. He was just black. That bugged me. And season 4 was a tad bit half-assed. I watched my animes in English dub. A couple of the other characters have the same voices as the main characters, but going back to the black dude, he may not have been a serious character in the show, but you still have to put some effort into the drawings, in my opinion. So that's it. That's my list. This wasn't like a worst to first type of rankings. I did enjoy all of the seasons. Isn't it funny how some of these underrated animes can turn out to be better than some of the popular ones? For me, at least. Like, I want to go back and rewatch the entire series again. If I had to point out a major flaw in the show, that would be Atsushi. I need him to get stronger. Yes, he's had his moments, but whenever he's fighting someone one-on-one, well, he did beat Akutagawa, and I don't want to make it seem like he's constantly getting his ass kicked, but I'm just waiting for him to be a dominant force when he fights someone one-on-one. He's more effective when he's tag teaming with, what's the girl's name? Kyoka and Akutagawa, but I want him to be a strong fighter who fights one-on-one, like Mori, Fukuzawa, Akutagawa, Chuya, you know? I want him to be on that level. So hopefully, season 6, which this show is pretty good at leaving cliffhangers. Akutagawa and Atsushi are fighting this powerful villain. And so hopefully at some point in that battle, I would imagine Akutagawa probably gets taken out. It's just him, and Atsushi reaches a new level of power from his ability and takes out the main villain. So that's my list. Just wanted to come on here and rank the season. So see ya.